Welcome to the world of boxing. Hello my friends, one more year has come to an end. It gave us many bright fights and unforgettable emotions. There's only one question: can the next year be as successful as 2018? Will it surprise the fans with top-level fights? Of course my answer is yes, and in today's video I'll tell you about the fights that can make 2018 extremely successful for entire boxing industry and expected by every boxing fan. If sports is where you belong, if you always feel that you know a little more than others, then our regular sponsor will help you to realize your knowledge and fill your pocket with nice bonuses. The first fight on our list of the most expected battles in 2018 is the fight of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Basically, this is a fairly logical and predictable fight wanted by both boxers, because in the first fight we saw that Tyson Fury had the best boxing skills, but strength and power belonged to Deontay Wilder. But it's not clear who would win, because the first fight ended with a draw. Tyson Fury in a duel with Wilder exceeded all expectations and showed great boxing, great reflexes and movement around the ring, despite his size. We saw a middleweight who completely reboxed a formidable puncher. As for Deontay Wilder, he once again proved that a not perfect boxing technique can be compensated by a powerful blow capable of knocking out any heavyweight. It's very probable that in 2018 a long-awaited revenge will take place between these boxers, because everyone wants to see this spectacle again, and I assume that this time pay-per-view sales will be twice as high as in the first battle.
I think it was a great fight, and we need to do it again.
In 2018, I would also like to see the third fight between Saul Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. Yes, friends, I mean the third fight between these boxers, because the first two battles didn't determine who of them is better. The official results are a draw and the victory of Alvarez. Both the decisions were controversial and literally divided the fans into two camps.
And I thought Triple G won the fight. I thought he won a close decision.
I thought it should have been a draw.
There's only one Mexican in that ring that night, and that was Canelo.
In the conditions that exist at the moment, the third fight entirely depends on the will of Alvarez's team, because if earlier Golovkin could put his belts on the line and achieve all necessary conditions of the contract, now he has no trump cards, and it is necessary to look for another way to get to the fight, which Oscar De La Hoya has no will to discuss.
If Golovkin wants to fight, then we have already, in my mind, I have a set price of what he's going to be worth. If he doesn't want to fight him for the price that I say, then go fight somebody else.
In any case, we hope that this fight will take place as soon as possible, because in April 2018 Gennady will be already 37, and the longer this battle will be postponed, the less competitive it will become. After a fairly successful first season of the World Boxing Super Series, the second was quickly organized in three weight divisions: cruiserweight, light welterweight, and bantamweight. Now we will talk about the last one. It's very likely that the monster of Japan Naoya Inoue and the South African boxer Zolani Tete will meet in the final duel. Frankly speaking, I rarely watch fights in weights below 126 pounds, but I definitely wouldn't have missed this fight, because Naoya Inoue gradually turns into a worldwide star. If a couple of years ago the main star of the lightweights was Roman Gonzalez, who at one time was the first number of pound for pound, now without a doubt this place belongs to Naoya Inoue, who already in the 16th bout took the championship in 3 divisions and continues progressing. As for Zolani Tete, he had been trying to get the championship belt for a long time. He won it at the end of 2017, and since that time he managed to defend it twice.
I just need to prove myself that I am the best and I can take on the best that is out there, and I can prove that I am the best of the best. You will see the Muhammad Ali trophy next to me. That's how confident I am.
In my opinion, it will be Tete who can maximally complicate the task of winning the trophy of the greatest Muhammad Ali to the clear favorite Inoue. Moreover, the final fights of this format are always interesting, so you will not be bored. The next fight that is worth watching, I would single out the second fight of Sergey Kovalev and Eleider Alvarez. By the way, this is the only fight on our list that will take place for sure. I chose this fight because it will determine whether Sergey Kovalev can perform at the high level or it's the twilight of his career.
I want to get back on the top of light heavyweight and make unification fights,
Back in 2017, Sergey Kovalev was one of the best boxers and entered the top 10 pound for pound. But after 2 fights with Andre Ward, he couldn't find his rhythm, and the change of the coaching staff wasn't effective. As a result, there was a knockout in the fight with Eleider Alvarez, who, basing on his track record, was not a formidable puncher. As for the Colombian boxer, his career developed rather fairly. He gradually increased the level of the opposition until he got to the main fight in his career against Crusher by knocking out the latter in the 7th round.
This is outrageous. This has to be a upset victory for Eleider Alvarez.
Ну да, пропустил плюшечку и как-то вот не смог собраться. Что-то, видимо, подустал, уже пришло время вешать перчатки.
In summary, we can say that on February 2 we will get answers to 2 questions. The first one sounds, is Sergey Kovalev a boxer who can achieve maximum goals? And the second is whether Eleider Alvarez is a top-level boxer or he was enough lucky in the first match.
Great fighters who fight competitive fights and take on all comers sometimes have a bad night. Great champions also come back.
The next fight I'd like to see in 2018 is the fight of Billy Joe Saunders and Daniel Jacobs. Many of you wouldn't expect this, but please agree that it would be a top-level fight. I said earlier that Saunders was in my top 3 best middleweights after Gennady Golovkin and Saul Alvarez, but 2018 was a terrible year for him. He was deprived of the title, and later there were problems with doping and license. The problems threw him back a few steps, and now he needs to prove again and win his place in the list of the best. As for Jacobs, he has been among the best middleweights for a long time. However, there are 2 clear stars in this division in the person of Alvarez and Golovkin, who shine brighter and take all the attention in this weight division. Daniel Jacobs can't do anything with it. There was an attempt to take the titles from Gennady Golovkin, which ended in failure and defeat by unanimous decision. Nevertheless, Jacobs managed to give a very competitive fight. Golovkin, to the contrary, didn't have it for a very long time. In summary, we can say that the fight between these boxers would be useful for both, because the victory will significantly increase the popularity and strengthen the position in the negotiations on title unification in the middleweight. The next fight I'd like to see is the fight between Alexander Usyk and Dillian Whyte. In 2018, Alexander Usyk collected all the trophies possible. He became the absolute champion of the world. He won the Cup of Muhammad Ali. He was recognized as a Boxer of the Year by such authoritative resources as ESPN, Sports Illustrated, and Yahoo Sports. He entered the top 5 best boxers, regardless of weight class. In 2018, it's the very time for new challenges, namely the battles in the Royal Division. Dillian Whyte was also active in 2018. He had 3 victorious fights, and in the last one he brightly knocked out Derek Chisora. Dillian Whyte has full power to get a chance for revenge against Anthony Joshua. In my opinion, it'll take place in April 2018 because Wembley is already reserved. The fight of Joshua versus Wilder doesn't get closer.
You gotta have a rematch because people will continue to talk all over the world. They just talking. So it'll be dumb. It'll be dumb to just fight somebody else.
And Eddie Hearn needs a decent boxer for Joshua on that day. I think many of you have a question about what will this duel give to Dillian Whyte. It's an easy answer. It wouldn't give him a title, but victory over Alexander Usyk would first fill his pocket well, and second, Whyte would become more recognizable because Alexander in 2018 managed to make a name and to collect the above-mentioned trophies. So in case the duel in England takes place, the stadium will be filled not only at the expense of Whyte's fans, but also at the expense of those who are interested in the person of Usyk, especially after his victory over Tony Bellew. As for Alexander Usyk, the duel with Dillian Whyte would provide an opportunity to declare himself as a serious opponent in heavyweight. The victory over a boxer who is very close to the elite such as Joshua, Wilder and Fury would instantly lift Alexander into the status of a serious opponent and challenger for the fight for title and for a place on Olympus. Let's go forward to welterweight, where the top fight for me would be Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. There are 2 boxers who don't have defeats in their track record. There are 2 current world champions in the same weight. There are 2 boxers from the list of the top 10 pound for pounds. Isn't it the time to find out who's the best?
I love both guys. I respect both guys. Both guys are on their way up, and I would pay big money to see that fight.
Yes, and this weight, there also are Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia and ageless Manny Pacquiao. But Crawford and Spence were the brightest stars of welterweight this year, so they are the first to come to my mind.
Maybe Crawford has more punching power. He certainly is more of a mean streak kind of killer in there. But Spence has remarkable technique, amazing quickness. He sees everything. And I don't know. That's a dream fight.
Terence Crawford got this weight in June 2018 after combining all the titles in light welterweight and managed to get a WBO belt in the fight with Jeff Horn, as well as to defend it against Jose Benavidez Jr. Terence Crawford is introduced by many journalists and experts as a special boxer capable of writing the history of modern boxing. Errol Spence broke into the welterweight elite after defeating Kell Brook in May 2017 and winning the IBF title.
Still undefeated, Errol the Truth Spence Jr.
In 2018, he had 2 fights against Lamont Peterson and Carlos Ocampo. Both finished with early victory without giving the opponent a single round, thus assuring everyone that he could claim leadership in this weight division and enter the list of the best boxers of modern times. The fight of these 2 boxers could clarify the situation in welterweight and determine the main candidate for the title of the best boxer, regardless of weight division.
So you feel that you're the best welterweight in the world right now?
I feel I'm the best fighter in the world. That's just my attitude.
And when I look at the welterweight division, the only talent I see there that I think is special, that has the chance to be great and to compete evenly with a fighter like Crawford, is Errol Spence.
The fight between Vasily Lomachenko and Mikey Garcia has been also widely discussed for a long time.
go to lightweight, I come down to lightweight, and we have a fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Good. Yeah.
That's what the fans are asking for.
Exactly.
That's what the fans are asking for. That's what the media is asking for. So let's give them that.
Yes.
All right?
All agree.
Boxing need this fight.
They do.
To be honest, speaking about these two boxers, Vasyl Lomachenko needs this fight much more than Mikey Garcia. The latter, as it had been demonstrated in 2018, can feel comfortable both in lightweight and in light welterweight. And in spring 2018 he will get welterweight for a duel with Errol Spence. The range in 3 weight categories significantly expands the circle of worthy rivals for Mikey Garcia. This is not the case for the current leader of the pound-for-pound rating, Vasyl Lomachenko, who repeated several times that the lightweight he is in now is quite heavy for him.
Now I think I'm too small for 135. So I stay for a couple of years, 135. After, it depends my size, my body size.
Even after the bright victory over Jorge Linares, and there are no more star names in the weight of 135 pounds except Mikey Garcia, who also holds the WBC belt. A loud duel for Vasyl Lomachenko could also be a fight with Gervonta Davis. But again, let's be honest, the probability of this fight is 100% because Floyd Mayweather is interested in fights in which Davis will be a favorite and not underdog with a high probability of losing his 0 in losses column.
Lomachenko has to rush. He's 30 years old. 30 years old, I don't know how old he is. He has to rush. This kid is still young. There's no rush. We're going to take our time.
In summary, we can say that the Lomachenko-Garcia fight is necessary for both boxers. For Vasyl, in order to get closer to his goal, namely for his name to go down in boxing history.
I want this fight. It's my favorite fight in the future. This fight will be in the history. I know it.
And for Mikey, in order to prove that he is the best boxer of our time.
At 135, the only fight that really interests me and excites me, it is a Lomachenko fight.
The fight of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder is highly anticipated by the fans for more than a year. At the end of 2017, I did the same video saying that this fight would take place in 2018, but it didn't happen. And here's another attempt in 2018.
Let's make the fight happen. Let's see who's the best. I know I'm the best. Are you up for the test?
Just like Dylan said, Wilder, let's go, baby! Let's go!
The situation about the organization of the fight is like the bout of Mayweather and Pacquiao. Its organization took more than a year, and as a result, we got quite another battle that we were waiting for. The Joshua-Wilder fight is still a fight for the crown in the heavyweight division, despite the fact that Tyson Fury appeared on the horizon. He looked very well in the fight with Wilder. However, AJ and the Bronze Bomber have all the titles, and their fight will make the winner an absolute world champion. The champion will take the WBC, WBA, WBO, IBO, and IBF belts. It has never happened in boxing history, or at least I don't remember such a case. If I'm wrong, please write in the comments about the boxer who owned all 5 belts in heavyweight division. To cut the story short, we can say that boxers have a lot to lose and bargain for. But the winner's name will definitely go down in history, and such a legacy is worth the risk and fight in 2018, which we all look forward to. Thank you for watching the video, it's the last one this year. Thank you all for watching the channel. I hope you're interested in my work, and the next year I'll try to make better content. But first, you need to get some rest, so wait for new big videos in the middle of January. Thank you, see you next year.